Hi, my name's Liz Rice. I'm Chief Open Source Officer at Isovalent. I'm a board member at Open UK and I'm a maintainer on a project called Cilium, which is a component that people use for connecting software together in the cloud. And I got into open source through cloud computing and a technology called containers that I'm going to try to explain. So cloud computing is when we run programs on other people's computers. There are buildings full of computers all around the world and we can pay to rent compute time on those computers and run our software on them. And that can be really cost effective. So lots of businesses, lots of organizations choose to use the cloud to run their software. So all these businesses have the same problem to solve around how to get their programs onto the cloud and how to manage that software while it's running in the cloud. So this is the perfect kind of problem that we would solve with open source. It doesn't make sense for everybody to try and solve it their own individual way. We get together and collaborate and build open source infrastructure for running software in the cloud. Now, imagine that your program is a jigsaw puzzle. It's a picture, you want to put that picture onto the computing platform. Rather than trying to solve a 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, we typically break that puzzle up so that rather than one big picture, we divide it into, let's call it, say, 50 smaller rectangles. And those 50 puzzles, they've only got 100 pieces, they're much easier to solve than one giant 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. And then we can put each of those individual jigsaw puzzles into a box, and that's my metaphor for a container. So the container is a self-contained unit of software. It's got all the pieces to make up that picture that we want to deploy. And if we want to change one of those 50 pictures, we only have to replace one of those puzzles. I've been involved in teaching people about how containers work and also how we keep them secure. So we want to make sure that bad actors can't reach in and replace pieces of the jigsaw puzzle with malicious pieces. We also want to make sure that the picture that's been deployed is exactly the same as what was printed in the jigsaw puzzle factory. We want to make sure that the software we're running in the cloud is exactly the same as what we intended it to be, that it hasn't been tampered with on the way to the into the cloud. Bit like if you had a picture of the Mona Lisa on your jigsaw puzzle, if you found that when you deployed it, somebody had scribbled a moustache onto the Mona Lisa, you would know that it had been tampered with. So we write tools, again, open source because everybody wants to protect their software. We write tools to detect when things have been tampered with and to prevent that tampering. And I think that's really important. I think it's incredibly important that we protect our data, your data, my data. We keep our information secure. Not all security software is open source, but lots of it is, and lots of the education around security, particularly in cloud computing, is open source and freely available. And I love that we can help each other out across the community and around the globe with solving these problems in deploying software efficiently and keeping it safe. I hope that's given you a little bit of an insight into what containers are and how we use them in the cloud.